Hello, everyone, and welcome to a presentation on whether Guyana should create a national oil company. I'm glad you guys could join us, and hopefully we can give you some answers on the positives and the negatives of creating a state-owned oil company in an emerging market. My name is Arthur Deakin, and I co-lead the energy practice here at AMI, which is short for America's Market Intelligence. So before we get started, just wanted to let you know and give you a bit of a briefing on AMI. So we're a leading independent market research firm based in Miami, but focused on Latin America. We actually focus on several different sectors. Energy, of course, is my focus. But the way we operate is by conducting primary research with local subcontractors, and as well as our own secondary research and analysis to provide recommendations and best practices and strategies for foreign companies usually looking to enter into the region, or for companies that are already operating in the region and want to pivot strategies or want to enter into new markets within Latin America. Since the early 90s, we've conducted over 3,000 consulting assignments. These are just some of our clients that we've worked with in the past, including some big energy companies, but also, as I mentioned, we include several different sectors such as payments, mining, and logistics. Okay, before we get started and touch upon the benefits and the drawbacks of creating a national oil company, just wanted to set the stage. We've been hearing a lot about the recent discoveries in Guyana's offshore fields. They've been unprecedented, really incredible speed. And you gotta commend the Starbeck Consortium for the work they've done, as well as the government for setting up the proper incentives and regulatory structure to ensure that it's a success. We're still very much in the beginning of this entire process, multi-decade process, which hopefully, if done right, will bring in billions of dollars in revenue for the Guyanese people and transform the way that Guyanese live on a day-to-day basis. We just heard this past month that Exxon found 3 new discoveries, taking the estimated barrels of oil equivalent to 11 billion. We at AMI think that it's even more than that, probably double, 20 plus billion barrels of oil equivalent. So we'll see how things progress in the next couple of months. We did an analysis across the region of the impact that higher energy prices will have on different economies in Latin America. And as you can see here on the top of the chart, Guyana and Brazil will be countries that will come out on top of this higher commodity cycle. The reason is there's several reasons behind it, but they're major energy exporters, and they have very high quality crude that's in high demand across the world, as well as low break-even costs, which will keep attracting investors and will ensure that oil keeps being pumped. Of course, they have to be cognizant of inflation and government subsidies to tame higher oil prices. Those can't spiral out of control, as we've seen in other markets like Argentina, which we see here at the bottom of the chart, which recently struck a deal with the IMF and won't be able to subsidize their energy prices, as well as having to depend on large amounts of LNG from the US. So their energy bill is going to keep increasing as these prices stay at $100+ of oil per barrel. So this is just to set the stage of where we're at in the region. In terms of Guyana, really, as I mentioned, it's been quite an incredible ride. They went from not having any oil to first oil in 2019, and already 340,000 barrels per day just 3 years after that. They're expected to reach 1.4 million barrels per day by 2035. That will make them the 17th largest oil producer in the world, the 3rd largest in Latin America behind Brazil and Mexico. And per capita, they will be the largest producer of oil in the world, passing Kuwait, passing the UAE. So that's a very, very big deal. It's going to revolutionize the Guyanese economy. But of course, there's still several things that have to take place before the Guyanese people can start reaping the benefits. One thing that's important to mention is that with increasing global climate targets and the transition towards net zero, Guyana has to start thinking, and its oil operators have to start thinking about pursuing carbon capture technologies, not only in its oil operations, but also in its gas plants, gas to shore, which is being proposed for 2024, as well as having methane leak detection for its pipelines. So those are two very important things to keep in mind. There's also been talk about creating a carbon offset market. I think that is a great idea, especially since Guyana is endowed with 80+% of forest. They can use that to their advantage in attracting investment from foreign companies and foreign investors. Creating a structured and regulated carbon offset market will bring in revenue for the country and will also allow other countries to reduce some of their emission footprint. So now looking at National Oil Company, which is the main focus of this presentation, we'll do somewhat of a top line overview because we can't get into all of it in such short time, but we wanted to look at the benefits of creating a national oil company and the drawbacks. And as you'll see after this presentation, the drawbacks far outweigh the benefits of creating a state-owned oil company, not only in Guyana, but in general. Starting with a very poor track record for Latin American national oil companies. We've seen PDVSA steal hundreds of billions of dollars from its people and just completely underinvest in their research and development and production capacity, and wasting the best resources, oil resources in the entire world. Pemex is the most indebted oil company in the world. During the pandemic, it was speculated to be burning an average of $10 million every minute, which is a shocking amount of money. Petrobras, state-owned oil company from Brazil, was involved in the biggest corruption scandal in recent history in the country, the Lava Jato, the Operation Car Wash. And then Statsoli, which is a neighbor of Guyana, has had a track record of nepotism, recent appointment of family members to the oversight board. It's not a good sign as Suriname also is on track to become a major oil and gas producer. But to be fair, it hasn't been all bad. Petrobras is one of the best, if not the best, company in terms of offshore exploration and technical expertise. Companies such as national oil companies have a lot of technological expertise as well. They have top of the line resources to explore offshore hydrocarbons. And then they also have robust financial resources. They're very well capitalized. They can invest in large projects and large developments. They've done it before, so they know how to do it, how to find economies of scale and cost efficiencies. So those are some of the benefits of having a national oil company as a partner. But when we look at the potential partners and what Guyana is considering, so just a little bit of background, Vice President Jagdeo has said that they're considering partnering with the Middle East oil company. And there's really three main candidates. There's Qatar Energy, Saudi Aramco, and the Abu Dhabi National Oil Company. And in my opinion, Saudi Aramco is the front runner. They've already been chosen to market Guyana's oil They have a strong relationship with the current government, and they are by market cap the largest company in the world. So they have an infinite amount of resources, essentially. Great track record, lots of experience, very top of the line technological portfolio. So that's very positive. The decision of whether an oil company, a national oil company, is going to happen in Guyana should come in the next couple of months, latest by Q3, when Guyana wants to auction its remaining blocks that have not been assigned to any company. The thing is with these Middle Eastern companies is that they have a history of operating in a non-democratic society, right? Societies where there's a non-elected monarchy, so there's not any public accountability. There's a lot of nepotism, contracts given to members of the royal family, and a history of poor governance issues. Now they're improving, don't get me wrong, and they bring a lot of, as I mentioned, technological and financial resources to the table. But history hasn't been hasn't shown a great track record for those companies in terms of governance and in terms of contract transparency. Guyana is going to have a pretty limited role within this national oil company, especially since they have none to limited local capacity in terms of oil technicians, geologists, just different people that can work in higher level positions in this national oil company will not come from Guyana, at least in the short term. So they'll simply play what the government has said, a passive role, and that will allow these Middle Eastern companies to have a large influence, large operational influence, which can, in a way, push the Guyanese out of key decision making opportunities. So that's another thing to consider. It's not gonna bring many jobs for the local Guyanese because there's just not any technical training yet for them to be employed by the national oil company in these more technical executive positions. Another big issue is that the government will take on new risks and increased costs, because as being part of this national oil company, they'll be awarded the prospective blocks, the blocks that haven't been awarded to any companies, and those, haven't been proven in terms of hydrocarbon resources. There hasn't even been a seismic survey yet. That might be a thing that they do before they tender it, but in any case, even if they do it, there's no guarantee that they will find oil like they did in the Starbuck block. So that increased risk and increased cost that the Guyanese government would have to figure out how to structure. And then a big thing also is that the Guyanese want to accelerate oil development. They want to ensure that they don't get ostracized in this climate transition period. But the creation of a national oil company would definitely delay things. It would require creating the legal and regulatory structure around the national oil companies. It would ensure finding the right company to partner with. It would ensure finding the right people to run it. We need to ensure how to create a profit sharing agreement between Guyana and the company. So that would definitely delay and go against what Guyana is trying to accomplish. I think that the benefits do not outweigh the drawbacks of creating a national oil company. And the whole idea that Guyana is pursuing is transparency, open bidding process, awarding the tenders to the most competitive and the most appealing bidder. If they create a national oil company, that completely goes out the window. And if they move forward with doing an open tender and excluding companies such as Exxon, Hess, etc., they also will be eliminating the possibility of companies such as Exxon or Hess using their local experience, using economies of scale to continue this accelerated development of Guyana's resources. So all in all, not a great thing to be considering a national oil company. I understand why, because they want to increase profits for the Guyanese people, but that can be done in future production sharing agreements, increased royalties. So that can be done without necessarily creating a national oil company, and that's the route that I think the Guyanese government should take. So we covered a top line level. Of course, if there's more questions you have, please feel free to reach out to me. We cover this topic, what's the expected impact of a national oil company in Guyana, as well as many others, such as what's the best risk-adjusted returns in the Guyanese economy, how can investors capitalize on the country's gas reserves. Those are all things that we can answer with deeper and more strategic research, which we do here at AMI in the energy practice. This is just our team. I want to thank you for your time and your attention. I hope you found this useful. Again, please reach out if you have any questions about the Guyanese energy sector or just the Guyanese economy in general, as well as the wider Latin American energy economy. Thanks a lot. Take care.